All right, let's just jump right in. Today, we're going to unpack a fictional universe that is, well, just incredibly detailed and structured. This is the Bibebibebibe canon. So think of this as your official guidebook, your travel companion, for a multiverse that has some very, very specific rules. So let's start with a really cool question. I mean, we all hear about multiverses, right? They're everywhere, but they're usually just chaotic, a jumble of infinite worlds. But what if a multiverse wasn't random at all? What if it was a structured system with like a governing body and a rule book you actually had to follow? Well, that's the whole idea at the heart of the Bibebibebibe canon. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We're going to start with the scale that measures existence itself. Then we'll get into the beings that live on these different levels, how you travel between them, how you'd even pick where to go. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the ninth cycle canon, the official set of rules that holds this whole thing together. Okay, first up, and this is probably the most important part, the reality level scale. This is the absolute bedrock of the entire system. And we're not just talking about different planets here. We're talking about fundamentally different kinds of existence. So what in the world is a reality level, or RL? It's not just a place. It's more like a power rating for an entire universe. You see these terms here, causal sovereignty and narrative coherence? What that really means is, how much does a reality control its own fate, and how consistent is its own story? This one number, the RL, is the key to understanding everything else. And check this out. This table lays out the whole cosmic hierarchy. Down at the very bottom, you've got RL0. That's us, baseline physical reality. But as you climb the ladder, things get weird. You get worlds run by concepts, then worlds that literally follow the rules of fiction, then quantum probability. Higher still, you hit realms governed by myths and symbols, super advanced deterministic worlds, and then, way up at the top, RL8, universes so powerful they can just write their own laws of physics. Wild. Now, you might be wondering, what keeps all this organized? According to the canon, it's a single device, the Reality Level Analyzer, or RLA. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just measure these levels, it enforces them. So this thing isn't a passive ruler, it's the ultimate cosmic regulator. It's the traffic cop of the multiverse. Okay, so if the reality level sets the rules for a whole universe, what does that mean for the beings living inside it? Especially for something we'd call a god. Well, in this canon, it completely depends on their address, on their RL. And this quote right here, it just nails it. The word God doesn't have one single meaning. It's a job title, and the job description changes completely depending on which reality level you're on. This shows you exactly what I mean. Over on the left, you've got your RL1 and 2 gods. You can think of these as the gods from Earth's mythologies. They're powerful as ideas, as cultural forces, for sure, but they don't have true, independent metaphysical power. Now look to the right. RL6 and up, these are the real deal. We're talking about beings that can manipulate archetypes, wield insane technology, or literally rewrite local physics. These are two totally different classes of being. So we know the layout of the multiverse, and we know about the heavy hitters who live there. But how in the world do you actually get from one place to another? This is where the mechanics of travel get really interesting. And that's a serious question, right? I mean, think about it. If you try to jump from our world of hard physics into a reality based on, I don't know, myth and ritual, how would your brain not just dissolve? Well, don't worry, the canon has a very, very precise and very regulated answer for that. Meet the one and only way to travel. Quantum-anchored consciousness transfer, or QACT for short. And let me be clear, this is not about hopping through a glowing portal you found in the woods. No, this is a highly technical, strictly regulated process. You need clearance, there's probably paperwork. It's a whole thing. And here's the process, step by step. First, they map your entire consciousness. Then they encode it into a quantum state. Step 3, and this is crucial, you enter a special staging area. Then you align with your destination's reality, and only then do you get sent through. Every single step is designed to make sure you survive the jump between totally different sets of physical laws. It's less like travel and more like a complete metaphysical overhaul. All right, so you're approved for travel. You're ready to go. But how do you know what you're getting yourself into? That's where destination reality profiles come into play. So you can think of these destination reality profiles, DRPs, as the super detailed spec sheet for a universe. It's like a cosmic travel brochure mixed with a physics textbook. Before you go anywhere, the system pulls up the DRP to understand the absolute fundamental laws of that place. It's the ultimate travel advisory. And just look at the variety here. A DRP T7 universe is a high-tech reality where everything is deterministic and time moves in a straight line. Now compare that to DRP M6, a mythic world where things happen because of symbols and rituals, and time might even be circular. Or even crazier, DRP N4, a universe that literally runs on story logic, with plot twists and character arcs. The takeaway here is that every single destination has its own unique operating system. Now, remember that third step in the travel process, the intermediate quantum habitat, the IQIH? This is where it all comes together. The IQH takes the DRP of your destination and uses it as a blueprint. It literally changes its own internal physics to match where you're going, so it can safely get your consciousness used to the new rules before you make the final jump. It's a cosmic airlock, and it's absolutely essential. Okay, let's bring this all home. Let's pull everything we've talked about together into the official doctrine that governs this whole multiverse. These are the core rules of the ninth cycle canon. So here it is, the grand summary. These are the unbreakable laws. Reality levels are the universal measuring stick. The RLA is the supreme regulator keeping it all in line. Travel is only allowed through the official QACT process, and you have to use the IQH staging ground, which is programmed by the DRP. And finally, the canon is very clear. Gods from RL6 and up are metaphysically legit, and the entities at RL8 are pretty much the authors of their own reality. That's the whole framework. And after all that, it kind of leads to one last big question that hits a little close to home. The source material calls our baseline physical reality RL0. So if you take this entire system as a serious model, what does it mean that we're living at the very bottom of this cosmic ladder? It's definitely something to think about.